The QPR Podcast is in association with 101greatgoals.com. For post-match Premier League press conferences, FIFA 15 videos, freestyle clips and much more, subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/101greatgoalsyt.
QPR, QPR, Brisbane Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR, now we're heading for European Cup.
Hello and welcome to the QPR Podcast, where everything's new except the jokes, the opinions, the moans and the groans. I'm David Fraser. I'm joined by three other QPR fans here. Two of the original founders of the QPR Podcast. To my left, Paul Finney of Indiars.
We've been promoted again, Chris. Founders this week, eh? Welcome. Welcome to a wonderful new studio and new surroundings. Carry on.
Exactly. More of that in a minute. And from... God, where do you work these days? BT Sports, Chris Charles.
Hi.
And a regular contributor to our podcast from Loftforwords Clive Whittingham.
Semi-regular.
Semi-regular. That's how we describe it.
You've got a semi on tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's always good for a Monday night. Right. If you're listening to us, you are listening to a sort of old but new version of the QPR Podcast. You just to sort of tackle that at the top, as I think they say in radio circles, and we're in a very lovely studio tonight, which I should say has been donated to us, or we've been given the studio time by Marketeers 4DC, so thank you to them. You will have noticed we've moved. We've changed home. So we were being produced by Playback Media, and they made our show for 4 years, and we have gone independent, I suppose is the best way to put it, and we're now producing the podcast under our own steam. So we thank Playback for everything they've done and for supporting us for 4 years, and we are going in our own direction. What that means, though, is all the old links, subscriptions, iTunes, SoundCloud, all the rest of it that you had clicked on to follow us and listen to us, you can't use anymore because we won't be there. That's me, Paul, Chris and Chris who started it, and we're starting this new thing. So let me tell you where you can follow us. We have a website at qprpod.co.uk, and there has all the links for the new shows, for the new shows, where you can go onto iTunes and SoundCloud and follow us on Twitter at QPR Pod. Does that suffice? Can we talk about QPR yet?
Are we called QPR Podcast now then? We're not called Open All Ours anymore.
Discussion for another time.
Okay.
Off air. We haven't got the name and the divorce yet. Let's see how we go. Should we talk about QPR?
Only you.
Should we talk about QPR?
Yeah, well, that's what you're here for.
Okay, so it's 2 weeks since we did a show. And in that time, we have played Sunderland away and won.
Yeah.
We've played Hull away and not won. Joey Barton's got sent off. The players have gone to Dubai on a training camp, and we've changed manager. Who wants to start where?
Clive, start from your journey to Sunderland and what you were thinking that day, and tell us how it all ended in a wonderful display.
Well,
is there a Sunderland story, Clive?
not really. Just that we went up there for the
13th
away game of the season, of which we'd lost the previous 12, and we actually managed to win one. Played really well with the players we'd been told previously weren't good enough to win away and weren't fit enough, and all the rest of it. Kept the ball high up the pitch, started on the front foot, scored 2 early goals. Leroy Fur, who's been playing on the left wing, looked absolutely fantastic in his correct position. Matt Phillips, who's been played out of position and then cast aside altogether, looked fantastic in his correct position. A youth teamer came off the bench. It was a magical night.
What we've been crying out for ages. I have to say, Samora's goal is one of the best I've seen in tune-out.
Fantastic goal.
Just amazing. I mean, that was proper striker's goal. And the support was amazing as well.
Just as you were starting to think that they would have to take Zamora off at half-time because he'd been so poor in the first half, he was the proper weak link in the first half. He did that.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's like I watched it on a stream because I couldn't get up there because I had to work. And it's weird because all you could hear was the QPR fans all the way through it. And the belief, the more we came forward, you could hear, I don't know what it's like you were there, with the fans, the belief was raised after the first goal. The second goal, it was unbelievable, the noise. Considering you're surrounded by a lot more Sunderland fans. All he came was Rangers fans, and that was always good. But I thought the performance, Robert Green was superb again. That you can't fault anyone, can you?
No,
really?
the reason I didn't give Robert Green man of the match that night, despite the fact they made a lot of saves, was because I thought that would make it look like Sunderland had battered us and we'd been lucky, and that certainly wasn't the case. We were much better than Sunderland, apart from there was a little 15-minute spell in the second half where we had a bit of a wobble. The thing with the support, I think, it just seemed to me that a lot of people had gone up there because they didn't want to miss the first away win. We seemed to take 2 or 3 times as many people up there as I thought we would, just because people wanted to be there on the off chance it happened, and it did.
Well, my friend from Dungannon made it, and I didn't, so I feel bad about that.
Fair weather.
And then Dungannon?
No, you.
I was a joke, Clive, don't worry. Carry on.
And then fast forward to Hull, Clive in particular. What were the key differences, or is it just the obvious? But the obvious being down to 10 men, can only hang on for so long. Because
Chris Ramsey, one of the things that's impressed me is he's obviously deliberately going out of his way to include everybody and be very positive. So it seems a shame to come away from. I felt quite positive coming away from the game, even though we'd lost in the last minute for the 4th time this season, and that's obviously pretty heartbreaking.
Happens so often, doesn't it?
To teams that get relegated, they do concede a lot in the last minute. That's what concerns me. It's things, just nonsense, unlucky things like that. But, if you want to take the positives from the game, we dominated long spells of it with 10 men. Carl Henry played really well. Darnell Furlong, first professional appearance, played really well at right back, acquitted himself well. Michael Doughty came on second half and was excellent alongside Carl Henry. We were still going for a win with 10 men at 1-1. Phillips played well again. It just looked like we were doing. So, those are the positives to take. We deserved at least a point, and we're unlucky not to get it.
What got me about Saturday was as well is how, as a unit, we worked so much better than most away games this season, even though we lost. You didn't come away from there thinking, oh Christ, we've lost again. This is despondent. You came away thinking, I can see what Ramsey's doing. I can see the setup. I can see even
almost like they'd come up with a plan and train,
which was nice. Like, what we should be doing. I mean, again, corners and free kicks, we still need to work on big time because when you're down to 10 men, you're going to get a free kick or a corner. You have to make it count.
Yeah. The corners were really poor.
They were, and you can see. But the good thing was the support on Saturday didn't buckle. I mean, the Hull fans were ridiculously bad. I mean, and it was a good. But the thing is, you know what? One thing I took away from Saturday: getting to Hull and getting in for under 40 quid for a Premiership fixture. That's not bad, and that was rewarded with a full ground. And how many coaches did we take up there?
We took 12 coaches, and I think also it was noticeable in the away end how much more positive everybody was. Yeah. Even at the end after we'd lost, there wasn't the atmosphere that I've experienced at Southampton and places like that this season.
And Stoke was pretty
where
bad.
It just always felt like it was on the cusp of kicking off in the away. It seemed that the picking of youth teamers, the getting rid of Harry Redknapp and whatever, does seem to have calmed everybody down, united them again. It felt really positive in the away end despite the result.
Should we talk about Barton, by the way, now?
No.
Well, I was just going to say, I think Chris Ramsey's blend of quiet, it seems to be feeding through to the players, and also the fact, Clive, if we'd lost that game under Redknapp, I looked at the last 12, 13 fixtures and thought, well, we're definitely down. But
wouldn't you get that with any new manager? With any new manager, there's optimism. So if it had been Sherwood or it had been Clement or it had been Tony Fernandez's PA, wouldn't you still, well, probably a bad example, but wouldn't you still be optimistic at this point?
Well, yeah, but then you look at Sherwood's post-match press conference compared to Ramsey's, and Sherwood there's no positives to take out of that. He was ranting and raving, he was reverting to type, whereas Ramsey, I still think we can do this. And unlike with Redknapp, there was a bit of...
You think we dodged a bullet with Sherwood?
No, well, we're not going to know till...
I think
the season, are we?
Personally,
there's a great Twitter account, by the way, called the Tim Percentage.
The thing,
but it's currently at 0%. Go on, Paul.
The thing is with Chris, it's all we can grow with him because he's going to grow into a manager, and the team and the club can grow with each other. So with him, there's hope. Even if the horribleness happens, that we go down again, you can see if they keep him on, you can build something. But they've got the thing is, whatever happens, the club, the board have got to be brave. And they've got to have a plan, stick to it, and not come off course. The trouble is, we seem to go with the wind too much, and then have too many knee-jerk reactions.
Who do we think? Who do we think the dream manager was? Tony Fernandez's tweet.
Paul Clement.
That's kind of what.
Laudrup.
Yeah, I'd go.
I don't think it was Laudrup.
I think they were close to getting Laudrup. Very close.
I think when he said it'll take time, that suggested to me that fitted in with what Clement had said about he'd be really keen to take the job, but not in the middle of the season,
But then,
which may still happen.
But then, what do you do then, Clive? If Chris Ramsey keeps taking the club up and getting the positivity, you can't then turn
You stay with Ramsey.
Give him the job.
Yeah,
give him the job.
It's a difficult one because
I guess that's what he's saying.
We've got to be
Fernandes,
stable,
isn't he? He's saying I think he's basically said Ramsey isn't the dream one, the one he referred to as a dream, but it's his to lose now.
But
His job to lose.
who told Tony Fernandes about Clement? I mean, I can't imagine that Clement has been on his radar for
Twitter.
a long time.
He was mentioned in the papers from early on. It was a 3-horse race apparently.
Yeah, but there is I know what you're suggesting, that it's the same reason that Mark Warburton suddenly got linked, is because lots of people on Twitter are saying these names, so Tony Fernandes says these names. There is that perception. I don't think that's unfair.
Okay. Our first ever Twitter comment I'll read out on our new podcast. Sebastian Garcia, who's a QPR fan and journalist in Argentina, backing Ramsey and the team, brackets except for Captain Joey, the whole way. Hopefully there's time to revert or reverse the Harry effect and stay up. Should we talk about Barton?
Well, if you want to talk about that, it's if we don't stay up, that will be interesting, because it's easy to say all this about the direction we're taking and how wonderful Chris Ramsey is and whatever after one win at Sunderland. We might lose the next 5 games, so how wonderful will Chris Ramsey be? If you're going to do it, you've really got to commit to it, and if we go down, you've still got to commit to it. If that, we change so often, like Paul says.
What he does behind the scenes, exactly what he does behind the scenes as well, is going to be important. How he connects. Say, 2 youth team players. Furlong was absolutely superb on Saturday. Every minute he was getting better and better. I mean, you talk about Barton.
After hearing for years that we ain't got any good youth team
They're
players.
not good enough.
They're not good enough. I put them in the team if they were good enough. They're not good enough.
To be fair though, the youth team results would back that up, because the youth team results have been awful. But
I saw someone say recently, I can't remember who it was, I think it might have been Tim Sherwood, the only team's results that matter at a club are the first team.
Exactly.
They're the only team that has to win.
But the thing is that if you keep... The results weren't good, they weren't done properly, and I think by putting Furlong in, by putting Dowdy in, other kids now can look at that, and that will improve their game. So this will have a ripple all the way down.
But you've got to commit to it.
Yeah, exactly.
If we get relegated, there's no use changing again and going out for some manager that's going to come in and say, I want to buy 10 players.
Yeah, that's the same.
But they was never going to get a game on the Redknapp, were they? There was
No,
no way they were going to get a game.
absolutely not.
Redknapp would have played someone else at right back on Saturday, which wouldn't have worked out.
Oh no,
so well.
I think he probably would have picked Sean Wright-Phillips at right back on Saturday. But
He probably put me or you or
but
anyone.
I noticed in Tony Fernandez's interviews last week that
Not Chris.
the sort of the snide comments about Redknapp were starting to emerge, just as the snide comments about Hughes started to emerge, and that's very, very easy once somebody has gone. At the end of the day, he could have sacked Redknapp after the West Ham away game. He could have parted company with Redknapp after the Burnley away game, and he actually came out and did the opposite. And now he's gone. It's almost like he's trying to curry favour by making snide comments, and that's really easy to do after somebody's. You backed him. He could have, you could have made an argument that he should have gone after the playoff final. You did your job. You were talking about retiring off to the golf course or whatever in his post-match interviews. Maybe he should have gone then.
But we're going to come back to the second.
If he was a week before the World Cup finals managing England, his knee wouldn't have hurt him, would it?
Never mind. If he'd signed Crouch and Defoe in January, his knee wouldn't have hurt him.
So can I ask what the World Cup finals things is? Being Northern Irish, I have no idea these things.
It's like the FA Cup
in
fourth
82,
round.
In 86, I was too young to drink.
Around
But going back,
He was playing.
yeah, I wish I was. Going back to Barton on Saturday, I mean, I've argued, there's been some people on Twitter who think it wasn't a red card. I think that's a red card all day long, because I've never seen anything so ridiculous
Hang on,
in
if
my life.
it's hand to ball, it's a red card, isn't it?
Very good.
You've
been watching it
jokes
all
were
day.
old.
You need to stop this.
Sorry.
The thing is, it was ridiculous to see. He was me and Clive and probably just discussing this, and Clive made a good point. He was doing the right thing by protecting Furlong. There's no, because the whole players have bullied him. Steve Bruce's Alex Bruce was was behind him, and he was really trying to get a 19-year-old on his debut sent off. That's disgraceful for any professional player to be doing. He's a kid, and they surround him like a pack of wolves. And he was right to, I should say pack of tigers, but never mind. And the thing is, he was right to defend the young lad, but he did it in completely the wrong way, which doesn't help anyone. Again, Joey, just like protect the player by all. I mean, Clint Hill's face, to me, if you want a reaction, you look at Clint Hill.
Yeah.
That said it all.
It was kind of, can't believe he's done it again, wasn't it?
Well, even Charlie Austin has come out. I'm not quite sure where.
Charlie's dismissed that story as rubbish.
Has he?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? For the benefit of people
There's
who
a
don't know what
story
you're
in the
talking
Daily
about.
Field.
Well, yeah, there was a story. There was direct quotes as far as I know. It's kind of cost us the game. He's the villain, and rightly so for getting sent off. He's got to deal with it.
Charlie's disowned him. He says,
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying what he's disowned. He's going to miss the next 3 games, and he's an important player for us. He's our captain. He's just held his hands up and said sorry. There's only so many times you can. That's the main thing.
And he said he didn't say that.
But to be fair, if it said it was written in the Daily Mail, I'd put sun cream on.
And did Joey say something odd today on Twitter? I saw...
He quoted to someone, didn't he? George Bernard Shaw, I think it was.
Right. The weirdest thing, one of the weird things about all that was when Tom Huddleston said he did the sort of thing that happens dozens of times a week on a training ground.
Yeah, but have you played Sunday League football?
Yeah.
Have you played Sunday League football?
Yeah.
Have you played Sunday League football, Clive, or football?
No, honestly, when I've played football, no one has ever flicked my balls.
Oh, okay. I'm always on the wrong side. It must be my attractive potato looking like head. No, well, listen, it happens.
It's not normal, Paul.
I agree with you. It's not normal, but people do. And people will muck around and do stupid things, but you don't do it 1 foot away from referee in such a high tension game. The thing is, there's a habit that's happening now, isn't there? There's Man City, Leicester that you point out as well.
Leicester last year.
I still maintain that Tevez should have got sent off at Man City.
Oh, please.
Oh, never mind.
He should have done. But anyway,
look,
carry on.
If you want me to have a run at this...
That's mad.
No. Let's move on. Look, from Man City, you can have a run at Barton. Go on.
Massive games for this club. Norwich at home, sent off in the first half for headbutting someone under minimal provocation. And you can argue, he didn't really headbutt him. Excuses. Man City, he was provoked. He chinned the guy. Excuses. He was provoked. Tevez should be sent off. Leicester last year, big promotion game, sent off. This weekend, massive match. And having watched the second half, I don't think there's any way we would have lost that with 11 men. Sent off again. The disrespect that he shows to our football club over and over again, and he's forgiven by QPR fans over and over again, is absolutely amazing. We have driven better players than him out of this club for much over and over and over again.
So, Clive, on Twitter, we've got a comment from Dieter Stanko. Should Barton ever play for QPR again?
Well, the injuries and whatever we've got, we may need to play him before the end of the season. But if they go anywhere close to renewing his contract in the summer, they need to have a long, hard look.
It's not up in the summer, is it?
It
I
is,
thought you had 5 years.
No, it's up in the summer. Well, certainly if they renew it on anything like the money he's on now.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's a possibility.
No.
But, who else would have him other than some mental home or poetry class?
That's a home for people who are very ill.
Someone will have him.
He did say, as this is his quote, as one of the tallest trees, you catch the most wind.
Bollocks!
By which
if you punch someone in the bollocks during a match, you catch. You get sent off. It's nothing to do with tall trees and catching wind.
Yeah.
There's a song by the Specials about that. Bollocks to it all.
Well, look,
Yeah.
at least Sandro's on the way
Maybe
back,
Farm.
and he's
Yeah,
not showing
it's on
any
that.
signs of getting sent off. Oh, yes, he did today. For
holding a Bristol City youth
So how does
player
that
up by the
work?
throat.
Clive, we were having this conversation. Sorry, you two weren't in the pub, but we were having this conversation. Because some people say it counts, and some people say it doesn't count. Clive?
So he got sent off for the under-21s today, Sandro.
For
and what does
taking
that
a
mean?
Bristol City youth player by the throat, apparently.
Well,
He looked like perfect Peter off Horrid Henry for anyone who's got kids.
So what does that mean?
As far as I understand it, if you get sent off for the club at any level, you are suspended for violent conduct, which is what it's been sent off for. This may be complete nonsense. You're suspended for 3 matches for the level that you were sent off at and above.
Right.
So he was sent off for the EDS team today. So if the EDS play 3 games between now and Arsenal, he can play against Arsenal. If the EDS play 2 games between now and Arsenal, he's suspended for those 2 and Arsenal. That's how I understand it.
So basically, we did a lot of
So
friendlies.
basically...
So start arranging some EDS games.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it doesn't work the other way round. So if someone gets sent off in the first team and you play 3 EDS games, that doesn't count. It's the level you were at and up.
Is there some sort of competition going on for who can get the most stupid red card? I mean,
It's like a play group on a dodgy housing estate, our squad, isn't
And again,
it?
this was-
You turn your back for a minute and there's somebody misbehaving or doing something.
and this was in the
ridiculous.
90th minute or something ridiculous, wasn't
I
it?
grew up with them dodgy houses estates. I never did anything wrong.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm looking at your piece of paper your notes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I can see that you've listed all our remaining fixtures.
I have, yeah.
Was this for a special treat and surprise in the R's End?
Well,
or was
it was
something you'd like to talk about now?
Not particularly. It was basically
It
because
looks like Wham.
yeah, there's a lot of people who've said we're already down, and you know, I admit it's not looking great. But I just looked at these. I mean,
We're
the next
still not in the bottom three.
No.
Well, not still, but we are not in the bottom
And the
three.
three teams below us, and one of them are just ahead of us, are poor teams playing poorly.
but
Yeah.
we haven't
Although
got a
our
great.
next two games are Arsenal and Spurs.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We haven't got the Spurs at home, Palace away. That's 3 London derbies in a row. It's going to be some sort of record, and Everton at home. Now, I think if we get 6 points out of those 4, then we're still on track. And I don't think that is if you.
Good
if you-
luck with that.
If you well,
I don't know, I think it depends on the Sandro incident, because if we haven't got Sandro, then who do we play midfield?
Yeah, but I like Ramsey's attitude to that.
Which is...
Well, you know, there are midfielders at the
Doherty could
We're
stay.
not short on
Two
midfielders, are we?
Well, Doherty could step up the plate. It's a chance. Listen, I think Spurs are beatable.
Well,
But I think Real
it
Madrid
shows
will be
how
a good
crucial Henry is now. The next
Yeah, we never
half
thought
a
you'd say
dozen
that.
games, isn't it?
I've seen all of those teams on that list in the next 4 games have really poor games this year. So no, you know, the Premier League's not the be all and
we
end all.
did, in our final 6 games of the first Premier League season, we did have Arsenal and Spurs at
Yeah.
home and took maximum points off them.
yeah.
And
I mean,
Liverpool.
And Liverpool.
but what I'm saying, we don't need to take maximum points of Arsenal and Spurs. If we take maximum points, if we win 2 of Palace, Everton, Spurs, and Arsenal, then we're still right in the mix. And
Well,
I
we
don't
only
think-
won one of Sunderland was our first win in about 10 games.
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
it? It still lifted us out the bottom 3.
This is-
Yeah.
the game to me,
Yeah.
this springs out massively, is the West Brom game.
Yeah,
That's
which is
huge.
the following one after
That's
that.
that's a huge game.
We've got to beat Everton at home. I think.
Yeah, I know, but
They're
if
really
we can
poor.
beat Everton at home and get a result there, and go to West Brom and pick a point up, that'll be massive. Because then everything else comes into play. By the way, the Chelsea 5:30 on a Saturday.
Good.
Really?
Yeah.
No, only if they.
Yeah, I know that
Only if they beat
the buzz.
Which they will.
Which
Good.
they will.
You thought you were scared taking the corners before. You ain't seen nothing.
Mourinho will have enough to fill a whinge bucket for a month when he comes to Loftus Road, because he will get slaughtered.
Good.
Well, I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying, and I think for 5:30 on Saturday, that's going to be.
We've got more chance of beating them at 5:30 on a Saturday
Do you think?
than,
I was gonna
than
say that.
1:30 on a Sunday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think
How
so?
many points do we need to stay up, though?
More than the team that finishes below us.
Well,
Thanks, Paul.
if it's somewhere
About 30
between 35 and
I think it'll be
38,
low this
Yeah.
year.
then we need. What are we on, 22?
Mm-hmm.
I look to Clive for these
So
matters.
13 to 15 points. Well,
13.
It's going to be low this year.
Plus
I'm
4
telling
wins
you.
and a draw.
so we've got West Ham at home, we've got Newcastle at home, we've got Everton at home, which are 3
They're
of those
3 big games.
3 big games. That's 9 points if we win those. Then we've got to scrat around for 5 or 6.
But then you can look at West Brom and Villa as your bonus games.
Yeah.
Don't
To be fair.
use that term. I thought we'd got rid of that with saggy chops.
Oh, no, not like that. What I'm saying is that then if you can go to Villa and West Brom and pick something up and try and build on the road, we're not going to stay up if we keep losing away games, no matter how you look at it.
No.
We've got to start picking things up. And they're the 2 games, I think, that we can look at and say, right, whatever happens, as long as we pick something from these 2 games, we've got a hell of a chance. If we carry on losing them games, we're going to be down.
Leicester as well, last day.
That's going to be mad, isn't it?
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
Yeah, because our final run-in, we've got 4. We've got Liverpool away, City away, Newcastle home, Leicester away.
The City have got enough to play for there by then. They've won the league by then.
Let's hope so.
Otherwise, we're doomed.
Dubai.
It's nice, apparently.
Yeah, I believe so.
I've never been there. Have you actually
Now,
been there?
I have.
I thought you were.
I have
Of
been
all the
there
people
once.
Clive, have you been there?
No.
I didn't like it,
You haven't been there, have you?
actually, but that's probably for the Dubai travel podcast, not this one.
Okay, I've never been there. I don't know what the crack is.
It's like sort of Vegas, but without too much alcohol at
I was going to
certain
say, you
times of
can't
the
get a
day.
drink there. It'd be no good for us.
It's like a bit of an adult Vegas, I would say. No, you know what I mean? It's Vegas
Let's
without
bring
the
something else to
debauchery.
mind.
Let's move off the actual attractions of Dubai or Las
Do you
Vegas or
think
anywhere
Dubai is a
else.
good place to go when you're kind of facing a relegation battle? Does it seem like a... Because I've seen some people talk... I'm not
The
having an
last time
opinion
we
on
went to Dubai, we got relegated
The last time we went to Dubai, we came back and won 2 games straight.
and then got relegated.
Yeah, we still won 2 games. That would be a big, come
Yeah,
back and do
it's
that.
true.
I think having Ji-sung Park and idiots like that kicking around had more to do with us getting relegated than taking them off to Dubai for a it was a piss up basically. Wasn't
Yeah.
Apparently,
I think as long as we come back in good time, I don't know when we're scheduled to come back, because, I mean, Man City went there recently and got back the day before their FA Cup game against Middlesbrough and duly got turned over. I mean, that would be my only concern.
Far more
5
organised
days,
than
I
that.
think. 5 days, and we
Is
play
it?
Arsenal week Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, they come back next Saturday.
Which is fine. But it just says, some people on Twitter are saying, is it seem like a reward for failure? I don't really have an opinion on this. I just think, I don't know what we could do in Dubai that we can't do in Hollington. I don't know.
Warm weather, training ground waterlogged, all that kind of stuff, don't they?
So they can
I
get a
suppose. Look, I suppose it is an opportunity for them to spend more time together, isn't there? And team spirit and team bonding is important in football. Okay. And they're, if they're training in Harlington, they come in at 10, train for a couple of hours, go home. Whereas they're all in the same environment for 7
You can do
days.
that in Skegness.
You
can't.
I've been to the Butlers in Skegness. Trust me, you don't want to leave that place unless you got a whole load of weird.
But I think in this instance, I think it is the right decision. I don't see. I mean, unless
I think it's just the location, isn't it? It's sort of a byword for excess and pamperedness and all that sort of thing.
That fits us very well then.
Yeah.
But again, with Ramsey at the helm, I don't know. I think if that had happened under Redknapp after, if we'd lost our last game under Redknapp, I'd have had a different view on it. But at the moment, it seems like we are moving in the right direction. Whether it's enough to save the season is another matter altogether. But I think as well, if he's taken the young players as well, which I assume I hear he's leaving Sandro behind, wasn't he, to get some game time?
That's worked really well.
And Hoylett, though, leaving behind, presumably because of
to do a
fitness
few
issues.
stepovers with no end
There's not
product.
enough food.
Has Sean Wright
in town.
Phillips gone then?
Sorry?
I feel sorry for Sean because no one actually knows where he is on Saturdays.
He's on the bench at the moment.
I know, but you can't really see him, can you? Pretty little fella.
Well, he played in our only away win of the season.
He did actually. Did you know what? He done well when he came on. In all fairness to him, he done. But Matty Phillips, I think, has come out of the shadows much better. I would like to Sean Wright Phillips. I like Hoylett.
Great cross, that guy.
No, but what he's
on
doing is
Saturday.
he's actually showing that he had the talent, he had the ability. He just needed some games under his belt to get back in the swing of things.
They need to keep things really basic.
But could Sean Wright Phillips
take
do
your
the same
fullback
thing?
on, get to the byline, deliver a cross, or take your fullback on, deliver the. He's spoken about they've been working on these 3 different areas that he's going to cross from and things like this. And suddenly he looks a good player. Who would have thought it?
So could Sean Wright Phillips do the same thing? Could Hoylett do the same thing?
Hoylett, yes. Sean Wright
Sean Wright
Phillips is
Phillips,
fit
no.
to the glue factory. only.
Oh,
I think the problem with Sean Wright Phillips' problem is he is tiny and he built his whole career and reputation on pace. And when you lose
Worked for
that,
Napoleon.
when you lose that through just basically getting a bit older, he's so easy to knock off the ball now that he's ineffective. I think that's probably the problem.
And he's been
with
in
him.
semi-retirement for 3 years.
I didn't think it that way. So anyway, go on.
Just before we get onto the R's end, I wanted to
was
ask,
quick.
is anybody... Yeah, we've been going half an hour already. Is he anti or not sure or has questions about Ramsey? Because it seems to... Can't find anything but overwhelming positivity.
Well, his press
everywhere.
conference is so much better because he answers every question truthfully and honestly. He looks everyone in the eye. He gets on with it. There's no excuses. He'll deal with it. I think one of the first things he said was, we just got to finish above that line, which is very simple, but so people will identify with it. I still grand. Carry on.
I don't know anything about him, as in his background. I know he's at Spurs, but did he play?
Yeah,
He played fullback for Brighton, managed England under-20s, scouted for England full team, coached England at youth level, one of the lower divisions in America as a manager.
Okay.
He coached Luton.
Yeah, but Tim Sherwood managed for 26 games.
Yeah, great win
In
percentage.
a gilet.
Great win,
59%.
great win percentage I heard from
But as I say,
Tim himself.
He doesn't like to talk about it.
Right. R's end. Are you going to talk about Chelsea? I thought you might.
Why would you do that?
Well, just thought it might be your opportunity to
Well,
learn
because
about them.
everyone's realised what we do for years. They're a bunch of shouts. But, I mean, to be fair, look, you're talking about the Trainington, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was outrageously wrong. They should be banged up and jailed and fined and dealt with by the law. That's got nothing to do with football. That's just a bunch of pricks who've just been arseholes.
Or give him the captain's armband.
Well, this is the problem Chelsea have, and they've had it for quite a while. They backed Terry to the hilt in a case, and all their fans were singing to Anton Ferdinand, and it wasn't anything to do other than race.
We know what you are.
And their fans then turn around and say, "Oh, we're shocked by this racism." You were all singing about Anton Ferdinand a couple of years ago, so and you're like leader, legend, and all that malarkey. when he clearly made an outrageous comment that he should have been punished for, and Chelsea Football Club should have punished him for it, and then we never heard of it again. As it is, so all their fans have got to do is turn around and say, it was a context, my lord. And
Okay.
scum.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Just me, Chris.
Well, no, I'm with you, and I think okay, you can't say it's all Chelsea fans,
Of course
but
not.
I mean,
No one's saying that.
we've known for years that their links to all these far right organisations back in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, it's always bubbled under the surface, and it's just that they got caught on camera this time. And there was also another incident a couple of days ago with the West Ham fans as well, anti-Semitic songs, I think. So, I mean, it's not just Chelsea,
No, of
and it
course
is something that needs to be stamped out. But maybe this is going to help sort it out. I hope so, because you can't obviously. Even the most staunch Chelsea fans surely couldn't defend that, apart from that idiot on Twitter who went on the radio.
And then
Who said we were singing it about John Terry?
Oh well, that's all right.
So that's all right. We won't talk about it, but if you didn't see that UKIP documentary last night, did you see it?
No,
you got to see it. It's
weird.
outrageous. Let's not talk about it here.
We're politically non-supportive of anyone.
Yeah.
But she really was nuts.
Crazy. Right, R's End. Anything we haven't talked about you would like to talk about? Chris.
Yes,
David.
David.
He did that.
We've taken the R's End with us.
Yeah.
We've got the R's End and the
No one's
divorce.
ever raised a finger before. That was very good. He was like school.
I just felt the
Do you
need.
remember that
Not that I
time?
actually went to school,
Paul,
but-
do you remember that time when we had Joey Barton in and I held my pencil up to you? As in, just hold on a minute, and then you didn't talk to me for 3 weeks.
And I broke
Do
your
you remember?
and I broke your pencil as well and threw it back at you.
Well, I also in that podcast said, "So, Joe, back to QPR. Hang on, I haven't finished it. Oops, right, sorry.
Yeah, talking about
I've got to get this
Newcastle.
off
No,
my
I don't
chest.
remember that at all, David.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
I was going to say new captain, or certainly standing captain for the next 3 games. Who's it going to be? I mean, Clint Hill's the obvious choice, but
Rio Ferdinand.
But clearly he's not playing at the moment. People have made a case for Rob Green. I'm not particularly a fan of keepers as captains myself.
No, Pat Dillon was good.
What do you want in a captain?
Well,
It's symbolic, really, isn't it?
yeah.
A big white beard and fish fingers.
Well, then if it's...
Mindless violence, abdicating responsibility via the Twitter,
if it's
that sort of thing.
Yeah,
if it's-
quoting from
if
Nietzsche.
it-
Yeah.
So I haven't
George
thought about
Bernard
this
Shaw.
before, but seeing as you said it, if your captain is symbolic of somebody who kind of gives 100%, sets an example to the team, is going to play every week,
Carl Henry.
then it's Carl Henry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Carl Henry.
It is now, yeah.
That was my. That was.
It will be Rio Ferdinand, though.
Not necessarily.
No, it will be.
It would have been with
It'd
H.
be Rio Ferdinand. I'm telling you.
How
agree.
did
I think that's
I
true.
didn't see the whole game on Saturday, incidentally. Sorry, I know, but how did Rio Ferdinand play? I heard he did
Reasonably,
all right.
yeah. I mean, Corker had a nightmare
Yeah.
first half an hour, so
Yeah.
Ferdinand did well to carry him through that. And he was good at Sunderland as well, to be fair.
To be fair to Ferdinand,
not his biggest fan, but a couple of good games.
you make a good point though. He actually was supporting Colker all the way through that first half.
But he needed it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, even when Colker made that horrendous mistake, it was Ferdinand was slapping him. Get it out of your mind. Get on with it. Do
Yeah.
it.
So maybe he's your captain.
What do we think about Kolka?
Apart from that, he was okay.
I thought he'd been playing well up until Burnley. He had a bad game at Burnley and basically got thrown under the bus by Redknapp, as he was prone to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And hasn't played well since.
Playing well and playing England international multi-million-pound defender Marquis signing well.
No.
No.
But, not playing in a particularly good team that's under pressure quite a lot of the time. But I like Colker.
I mean, just to sort of go back to Chris's point, there is really only 2 contenders for the captain, isn't there? Green and Henry. I suppose there is.
Well,
it's
yeah,
interesting
I think-
one.
I would actually throw someone into the ring and say Charlie Austin. Why not?
Yeah. Well, he conducts himself well.
Let's
And
get to
he's-
Raptors captain again. It worked all right the first time.
To me,
didn't it?
I love.
Sorry, the captain thing is not as important. I don't. A lot's made of it in British football that isn't made of it elsewhere. But
Yeah.
I do think having Joey Barton as your captain, particularly after Saturday, completely just sends out everything that we were and apparently don't want to be anymore. When you're talking about protecting a youth teamer, protecting him by leaving him to play in his first ever professional game for an
10
hour
men.
in a team with 10 men, I'm sure he was delighted.
No,
I'm sure
I
Furlong
agree.
was delighted to receive that protection.
I agree.
Because, pushed him off down the river with no paddle.
But by the way, sorry, we haven't talked about it. I thought Austin School's celebration on Saturday was hilarious.
Brilliant.
I mean, that was brilliant. You know, pointing at the knee.
Yeah.
I mean,
very funny.
It was good. And no, I like Charlie a lot. I have no reason to say that, but I do like him a lot. And
do you want to rephrase that, Paul?
No, because what he's doing, and he emphasises, and he's a trier.
Is it nothing to do with the fact that he's getting married and you're trying to get the flower contract?
I thought the flower contract was nailed down.
You can ask that question. I can't possibly answer it. I'll see them when they get married. But the thing is, he does try hard, and he is. So yeah, you're right. Henry would be a good captain. Green would be an excellent captain as well, but maybe he doesn't shout enough sometimes. But Charlie Austin for me would be an excellent.
Yeah,
captain.
no, why not? Why not?
Clive, your R's end.
Oh,
on the Ramsey situation, I'll be interested to see what happens with a couple of defeats. Because we've lost 2 and won 1, and the club are very good at latching onto any little positive and spinning it really well. And I wonder if this sort of love-in at the moment is more to do with the fact that we were so sick of the way that Redknapp was going about both managing the team and handling the club. It just seems at the moment that it's nice to have somebody that's representing the club well, who speaks well, and is sensible, and he's actually planning for matches and things. It'd be interesting to see how it goes if we keep losing. Because, like I say, if this is the strategy we're going to go along, you need to stick with it. And
he's got 2 good knees. But one thing, my odds in this show, sorry I haven't done it yet, I'll do it very quickly, is to thank everyone who listened to the last podcast and who's listened to this one and who's still supporting us. Thank you so much. We're going to need your help over the next few weeks to get through the season. We're all in this together.
It's hard.
It's going to be difficult.
It's hard.
It's
tough.
Our knees might not last out unless you help us. And you could be our crutches as we carry on.
You can be our boy Crouchy.
Blimey.
We've got Nisha who's just walked into the
studio. For my R's end, I was going to raise Phil Beard.
Oh.
Phil Beard, Chief Executive, MD, I don't know what he is. Man, a principal of the club in terms of the administration has gone. Do we care? Does it matter? Significant? Not significant?
Bye, Phil.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay.
Well, I think it could be significant given that presumably the main reason he was in was to oversee this whole new stadium project. And I don't know, is that a sign that things maybe won't be happening as quickly as they hope?
They seem to think that Mark Donnelly's overseeing the training ground and whatever's happening with the stadium at the moment. So, strap yourselves in, kid.
What was Phil Beard's role then?
Attending events in a nice suit, getting on the BBC cameras on Sports Personality of the Year, spending lots of money, earning lots of money, driving around in a flash car.
To be nice to Philip, you would say he was there a lot. To be rude about him, you would say that he wasn't very good at the football side of being a CEO, which I don't think he is.
Oh, that's right. So are we saying he got the hump when kind of the football bits of his job were taken away from him? Is that what's behind it?
They've mutually put out the idea that he's resigned because his job was changing, i.e.,
yeah,
and hopefully give it to somebody else.
So
it's Les, isn't it?
Well, the football side's going to fit, but
so he's still the CEO.
He'll probably spin it that he got the hump and resigned, and we'll spin it that he was useless and he was sacked.
If they want someone to bring in a training ground and a new ground, I would say have a chat with Mark Devlin at Brentford. He's done quite a good job there.
I would have thought his name will be thrown into the ring.
Just I've got to declare interest. I've known Mark for a hell of a lot of years, and I'm not going to hide behind that, but I do think he'd do a good job at QPR.
I don't know Mark at all, but there's a club down the road with much fewer resources than QPR doing a hell of a lot better in the things that we want to do well in, i.e. academy training ground.
Although potentially have a more mental chairman.
Not necessarily. The mental chairman owns a club in Denmark, which is 6 points clear at the top of the Danish league, operating the same system that he wants to bring in at Brentford, so maybe he's not that mad.
Well, time will tell.
That's told you, David.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say mental. That's a bit rude. But you know what I was getting at.
We reserve that for our captain.
Yeah. Just to complete my R's end, I actually just wanted to say a few thank yous as far as the podcast is concerned, because it has actually taken a fair amount of work to get to this point where we've got a new podcast, new Twitter, new website. Thank you to my brother Richard, who's really helped us out with all the SoundCloud and the iTunes and the website and all that stuff. Thank you, Charlie Ashcroft, who's kind of really helped us understand what we need to do. Thank you to all the fans groups, all the other fans sites groups, including yours, Clive, have been absolutely brilliant, helping spread the word. Thank you to everybody who has listened to us, who's moved over to our new Twitter. So just to re-emphasise, we are now on @QPR Pod on Twitter. You can find us under the new QPR Podcast at Facebook and go to qprpod.co.uk to get all our links. Now, don't know if we're going to do a show before. We haven't worked out when our next show is going to be. We're kind of going to be a bit like this for a few weeks. Whether we do it on next Monday before we play again, before Arsenal and Spurs, or whether we do it sort of at the end of next week or not, after the Arsenal game. Let's do a prediction anyway, and then we can always do another one next week. So, to finish us off, how are we going to do against Arsenal? Remember, 3 out of the 4 of us predicted a defeat against Sunderland, and we won.
I said we win.
So we should carry on with that. So I will start by saying we are going to get beat 1-0 at home to Arsenal. Clive?
I think we're going to beat one of Arsenal or Tottenham. Tottenham have got a horrible 2 weeks. They didn't play well yesterday, West Ham. They've got Fiorentina away Thursday, League Cup final Sunday, a game Wednesday, and then us. So maybe it'll be them. I don't think we'll lose both games.
I think we're going to concede a 97th minute goal. But we'll already be 2-0 up, so it won't matter.
Oh, I like that.
And Paul?
I think we'll beat Arsenal, we'll beat Spurs, and then we'll drop Palace.
That would be so QPR.
Beat Arsenal, beat Spurs, draw Palace, so 7 points from 9.
Yeah.
That'll do for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. This has been the QPR Podcast.
QPR, QPR, Chris Charles Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR.